Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of episode 45 of the Wireheads podcast. I'm Diamond Dust.
And I'm Emmerron.
And us two, nuts on the internet, we are trying to inform the Cyberpunk community as best as we can. And if you missed out on the first half of the episode, click on the link below. Go back there. There's a lot of important context before you come here, okay? I will see you in like an hour. Thank you.
Yep.
For those of you guys on Twitch, Spotify, welcome to now. Whatever happened an hour ago, you are now at now. We're not in the future yet. It's okay. So we have been talking about Artalisaurian games, Cyberfists of Fury, a big new martial arts expansion where we've gone from 4 martial arts now up to 27 martial arts if we include
27 if you include everything together. Yeah, 23 new ones just came out in the article.
So last we left off was in page 78 of Interface Red Volume 4 with the gun fu technique, where we were drooling over literally just John Wick or John Woo action in this case. We pick up with a much more traditional martial arts, where I practiced for a time the Brazilian variant of it, Jiu-Jitsu, which it is very much yielding to the force of your opponent, and then using that against them. Which it is very much you are either applying. With their first one, Aiki, and their second one, the throwing technique, Aiki, is very much with this one. You turn their body score into your into what scales your damage. So maybe you're a little scrawny, I don't know, 4 body kind of person, but you just happen to be really good at jiu-jitsu. This guy's got 12 body and you're able to get him with it. Suddenly you're doing 4d6 damage to someone each time you hit them after you pass this. And then we've also got the throwing technique, which in this case you use throw action and you use their target's body stat instead of your own when you're throwing them. So this is very much this is little guy martial arts. You didn't put too many points in the body because you wanted to put it elsewhere. This is little guy martial arts. So now that we have this out, be wary of rolling up on that small, innocent-looking exec. Oh, okay. That exec who looks like he might go to the gym a couple times a week at best, just to keep up with the corporate, figure policy or whatever. You might be in for a world of fucking hurt if you get tangled up with them.
Yes. Yeah, no, this is one of those that's really, really interesting, because I feel like it deeply shifts a little bit some of the player knowledge, or it invites players to have more knowledge about the enemy than they otherwise might, by simply saying I want to use this guy's body to calculate my damage for the round. Yeah,
and you can elect to use their body instead. So if this guy definitely has grafted muscle and bone lace, or if they have a linear frame, it's gonna be a bad day for them if you can get your hands on them. Because especially if you get a good grapple on them and you're rolling around on the ground. Next, of course, for the Street Samurais, I've had 3 people, as soon as this came out, just be like, hey, Diamond, can I spec into Kendo? And it's just hold on, what are we looking at here? It is the modern Japanese way of the sword. That's right, put your fedoras on. We are here for this. It's a martial art with a lineage tracing back to the age of the samurai. The warrior cast, not the band. Of course, this has 2 awesome moves. The first one, cut the bullet. It does what it says on the package. You cut the bullet. Now, mind you, I don't know if you should use this against explosives. You can. It can be really rough though if you fail on an explosive. I'll tell you that. Then we have Kiken Tai Noichi, which this allows you to reduce your your aim shot penalty with your sword to -2. You only take a -2 penalty to an aim shot if you meet the requirement. Given it's only a rate of fire 1 attack, but if you really spec into this means you're just hacking heads for fun.
Yeah,
and you don't have to be a netrunner.
It's insane. This very much, Kendo very, very, very much like feels pretty much like any kind of samurai fantasy that you ever would have had, and very much like popularized by a ton of media. One of the most kind of like recent examples that I can immediately think of someone or like a media franchise using this was Final Fantasy 14. You look at the trailer for Stormblood.
Yes.
In Stormblood, they introduced samurai as a playable class within the game, and it's very much like there's a whole scene where the warrior of light, garbed up in samurai clothes with a katana and everything, literally cuts through a swarm of little musket balls fired at them, and then like knocks down everything in like a 5-meter radius of them. It's pretty incredible. Between these two techniques though, sword users are looking so good and eating so good. I like that Kaiken Tainoichi using that with a mono 3 is like now a goal that I must fulfill at some point. Because holy, can you imagine headshotting with a weapon that ignores SP under 11 at a -2 penalty when you're probably you're doing that with an excellent quality weapon, and like there are other ways to bonus yourself up into ignoring that altogether, like one luck. And then I just get a free headshot on my opponent.
Now, given
that's crazy.
That does mean you are rolling against their evasion still. So again, while it sounds like, oh hey, this is really good, all it takes is that enemy having either really good evasion or they get a really lucky roll, and then your rate of fire 1 attack is out the window. Well,
so I suppose, given the condition to activate this, if I am stealthed and have the time to prepare, this one does not require that I be unseen. Or that I be noticed.
You must be in combat. Like that is.
When are we considered to be in combat for that purpose?
I would rule. I always rule you are in combat as soon as initiative is rolled. As soon as the initiative order comes up, I think that's what combat is.
Okay, so you're saying that it necessitates almost that the enemy know that you're there.
I don't know. This might be a question for the mayor's desk this Friday.
Might be worth asking, because that skill in particular, if you are allowed to set it up as the lead into an ambush round or something like that, and you just, I mean, if it's an ambush round, you're hitting for free anyway. So actually, it's a moot point, as I just thought about that up for 5 seconds longer. But yeah, so no, so you're right. The fact of the matter is I get a free kill shot, basically, all the same, on a ambush round anyway.
GM, nice boss. Hey, we're ready for the next encounter.
While you were cultivating your boss, I studied the art of the blade. Nothing personnel, kid.
Look,
Cuts off your boss's head.
now I just need the mall kid that, you know, kind of got tired of being made fun of. Has the fedora still at SP11, mind you?
What? Okay. Brief tangent, because we need to establish this. What role does Mall Ninja Kid have in this context?
Definitely, well, I'd say not just starting rank 1 solo, but like they started out there. They were, you know, some, you know, mall poser, and then maybe they evolved to, you know, start learning and gain their combat awareness that way. Perhaps. According to Hunter, welcome. Mall Ninja, tech to really study the blade. Wee Mano is also a martial arts enthusiast at my table. They were fiending for this.
Tech to really study the blade is a wild comment that you're probably right about, honestly. That really checks out, because let's be honest, right? You're either a tech or you're a netrunner, because you're a nerd if you're making that comment. But you probably know some things about some things, and that is tech would be this needs to get developed. I'm feeling that this needs to be developed.
I can already feel a monster coming down the alley.
I'm brewing.
Meanwhile,
I'm working on an ELO campaign right now, guys. So that's you.
Media, if you're making Cold Steel demo video. Oh my gosh. Also, one fun fact when I was talking to James about how he was kind of selecting different martial arts was because back in the 90s, certain locations didn't get picked, like India or, you know, the Middle East, or some things from South America didn't get picked because of, you know, like what happened around, you know, the early 2000s. There was some shying away from that. We do see the introduction of Southeast Asia and the Middle East here. Our first introduction is from Israel, Krav Maga, which is
is terrifying.
Oh yeah. Which this one is very much this is like mixed martial arts in a bag, shook together, and then it kind of came out as something else. We have, of course, this is very much about aggressive play, where you are handing out critical injuries, or you are like getting up in the enemy's business. One of them allows you to hand out extra. Oh, this just allows you to hand out extra brawling attacks, depending on which way it pans out. So you're just dishing out more damage. Now, given it's not at half SP, but you're still handing out more damage.
I mean, look, if it doesn't eat my action, I don't care. I'm just gonna punch anyway. Maybe I do connect. And see, the thing is, if I'm making those brawling attacks after I land a separate martial arts attack, which did do some damage, like they're already losing some armor. It may not be a lot of armor, but it is armor. I know one of the things it mentions specifically for the first special move here for contact combat is landing a critical injury from one of several different martial arts disciplines, one of which is karate, which I believe we know because that's one of the core rulebook ones. They, I believe, have an armor breaking combination as part of what they can do. So if you land an armor breaking combination, crit on it, and then go into contact combat, and then just get more damage through after you've already hurt their armor significantly, you are just vibing. You are so happy.
Krav is very much a complementary martial art. It is very good standing on its own, but it seems to excel as a complementary martial art as well to add to your toolbox.
And this, if you do take it standalone, this first one turns more into, did you get lucky and crit your opponent? Yes, cool, do some more stuff. But if you combine it with other mixed martial arts and actually make it that like mixed martial arts thing that it really does tend to be, oh my god, it gets so scary.
Now, we mentioned this earlier, but as Carl Douglas once wrote a song about, we have Kung Fu. I am so sorry if that reference went over some of y'all's heads. Please get out of here. Go learn some music and come back. Or else you might just be too young to be here. Get out if you're under 18, please.
What was that about us not aging, Diamond?
I know. I have to deal with my own mortality, and having to move and all this has made me really sit down and struggle with my mortality a little bit. Okay, I'm working on it.
It's okay. It's healthy. It's healthy to contemplate death, I'm told.
Of course, this one really requires you to lead into Kung Fu. Like, you need to really spend time with this martial art. Now, of course, right out the gate, you'll be able to do most of this, but if you learn Kung Fu later, it really comes into play once you've really spent time with it. Which one of them, of course, is 5 forms. Instead of, making 2 attacks with your martial arts attack, you may choose one of 5 forms, which is a rate of fire 1 attack, but it includes extra. It also includes some extra effects. So we have 5 forms. Crane. Your target suffers the damaged eye critical injury without bonus damage. So you literally just get someone in the eye. Dragon. You add +1 to your next attack. To your next attack check made against that oh my goodness. Leopard, your move is increased by 2 till the end of your turn. So I wonder if that's what might have been referred to during the Choi Lee Foot discussion as well.
Yes, this very much is the 5 forms thing is what Ghost was telling me was like very like. So when we got to Kung Fu on the test platform, it was very much a I'm gonna try this because this like Choi Lee Foot feels very like it didn't feel 100% like the Choi Lee Foot that I practiced, but Kung Fu got a lot closer to it, which is like, and I imagine probably if you took them together on a single character, together they probably form the basis of what he was taught. Because when he went through 5 forms and we were like testing this and working out the kinks with it, oh my god, it's so cool to watch it work. I love the style for this. It's so cool.
I think this will work well with some other martial arts or just certain builds in general. Snake, you just get every time you do some damage, you just get a point of luck back. That is a good way to recharge your luck pool, midway through combat. And then Tiger, you just ablate the armor by an additional SP. Your next punch or next kick is armor piercing.
Your fists and feet just became armor piercing weapons. Congratulations. Yeah, it really is incredible.
Then there's superior stance. It is your turn. If you've hit someone with a martial arts attack this turn, if you can attempt to beat a certain DV and then buck the initiative order, you go to the top. So that puts you. That is very much more if you are trying to, take the lead on something, and it just so happened maybe the opposing solo had a Sandy, and you were just a few points short.
Well, and it's so funny because I think of this. Diamond, please tell me you've seen The Matrix at least.
Yes.
Okay, good. So in the scene near the end of the first film, where Smith and Neo are fighting in the subway platform, and Neo like rises up out of the broken the broken payphone booth Smith has just knocked him into, he stands up and he just like flexes into a position. That's what superior stance feels like to me. It's like you come out of it and just like, and all of a sudden the reality just shifts around you. Everyone's intimidated or very turned on, and now you have everyone's attention. It's going to be great.
To the bow and crossbow lovers, Kyoto has made an appearance. The Japanese martial art of archery, often practiced as a competitive sport or a form of meditation. Modern age practitioners have trained with a special set of hand-to-hand moves designed to complement the bow. So your bow also, I imagine your bow becomes part of your weapon as well. It becomes part of your strikes as well. If not even in a sense, it seems to be like Gun Fu's counterpart here.
Yeah, it kind of is. So this is one that, again, at my table, one of our testers was Cody, who some of you have seen on Neon Inferno. He loves bows. Bows are literally one of his favorite weapons in Cyberpunk, which is very odd. I don't know a lot of people who are like him and really love it, but when I see him start doing shit with bows, I'm both in awe and kind of terrified, because this just made him so much better. This literally like doubled his effectiveness, and he was already really good. So you've got the ability here. So you've got two, obviously, like every other martial art. So the first one is Hasetsu, the other one is Zeiteki.
Yeah.
So
Hasetsu.
Yeah.
That go ahead. But like
yeah, so this is if you're an established Kyudo stance, which you can do that by resolving against special move resolution. The damage of the first attack that you make with a ROF1 weapon fired with it is increased by 2d6. So your bows go from 46 to 66 is what that means. While you're in that stance, if you move more than 3 squares on your turn, take damage from a melee attack, become grappled, become prone, one disarmed, or are disarmed of your last one fired with the archery skill, or the combat ends, you exit the Kyudo stance. There's a lot of ways to lose it once you've established it, but once you've established it, you straight up just get to literally be 66 archery sniper man.
It's Black Mage's circle. Ley lines.
It is a ley line thing, yeah, just a little bit. But it's very, very, very good. So the one thing is, establishing the stance costs you your action. So this does mean that as like a turret archer, you really need to know that where you are is very safe, essentially, or is not likely to be aggressed by enemy forces.
Also, one other thing that Weeman points out, the rifle on the Eagle Tech Survivalist is shot with archery. That's a 7d6 weapon.
Yes. Facts. True facts.
Oh, right no.
Yeah, and it is an ROF1 weapon. So yeah. And as a reminder, all my bow users out there, your arrows, the reason bows are so good, there are 2 reasons actually. One is they are automatically silenced, essentially. They have no very loud thing that you'll hear when they are at proper range, and they can fire from quite a distance and be very accurate still.
No reload action.
So you establish Kyudo stance, draw up that arrow, and all of a sudden, that arrow, whatever it is just stronger. But if you do have an Eagle Tech Survivalist, yeah, 76 is what you're doing. Because that is also an ROF1 bow weapon. So yeah, it's fun.
And then, as long as you
easy
have that, let's see, you hit a target. So if you nail an aim shot with your bow or your crossbow, there's a chance you could get 2 luck points back.
Yep.
My gosh.
Yep. So if you're quietly waiting in the wings and then make an aim shot and just knock someone dead, luck points come back. It's very, very good.
Yeah, and you're right, wee man. Fucking archery range DVs are really good.
They're very good. They're very good.
So next up, another crowd favorite that's kind of come in that a lot of people are talking about is Militech Commando training, which takes the knife and makes the knife surprisingly lethal. So, when I'm talking about the knife, I'm talking about the 1d6 knife. Sure, you can poison someone with it, but it only does 1d6 damage if you choose to just do, stab damage. This changes everything for it. So you are attacking with a light or medium melee weapon on your first attack this turn. You can, with the martial arts resolution, turn it into a rate of fire 1 attack, and that little knife turns into a 46 damage attack.
In other words, that's not a knife. This is a knife. It's just...
This is like, so this is very much, I don't think Splinter Cell is the right series for this. I'm trying to think. Would Splinter Cell be fitting for... It definitely Ghost Recon with, like, the way, a knife could just simply take someone out, but...
I would not say that it'd be wrong, at least, to lump Splinter Cell in with that. Because, yeah, it's very much Spec Ops. Like, you're going in, you got a knife, you can just mess up someone's whole existence with that knife, and that's all you really need. This is what that is. This is a Spec Ops martial arts training, essentially.
Now, say you're, say you're like in a tangle with someone and they are like up in your business with either like a handgun or a knife or some sort of stuff. You can take their weapon away from them through a certain process that's mentioned in here with Commando Disarm. And next up, Muay Thai boxing is a very showy, flashy, and very, very powerful striking martial art. Which this one is very much more about just adding more damage. Just more damage per punch. What do you have to think on these two? Like the conditioned ferocity and conditioned power. Like, did you guys do this during the playtest?
We didn't play with Muay Thai. That was not one of the ones that we got around to. That said, I do think that it can be very, very powerful. The one thing that I will say I guess I'm not bothered too much by the fact that they cap off your brawling damage at 4d6, but I think brawling damage could have gone to 5d6 and not be horrendously OP, because again, at that point, it's just hitting with an assault rifle, more or less. But it is good.
Which I think we see that follow up in conditioned power.
Conditioned power is very much, yeah. And so that's kind of where it's like, if you've damaged a target with brawling, yeah. So like, that makes sense that you'd want at least 4d6 brawling, and then yeah, you can just follow it up with 5d6 martial arts, that is crazy.
It also
that is really good.
Does come off as an appealing martial art for someone that might be at that 3d6 range as well. Where you don't want to augment yourself too much, but you can put out a lot of power in that case. Now this next one was a fun one to look into. Multi-arm melee. That's right. We finally now have another reason for the multi-limb for the is it multi-joint mount or?
No, it's the multi. Oh, what was it? It's the shoulder mount. It's basically it's the additional shoulder mount.
Additional shoulder mount. That yes, artificial shoulder mount. Thank you. Multi-arm melee. This gives, people that have, more than 2 arms a great way to, actually use those extra limbs besides carrying another long gun. The martial art was developed by the residents of the Yukon Valley in the free state of Alaska to stand a chance against Biotechnica's specially augmented bears and win their fight against Petrochem. Wait, what?
I love how they developed a martial art to fight against the multi-armed bears.
That also have a martial art.
That also do have a martial art.
Yeah. Yes. By the way, to all my new players who have tuned in, the Cyber Bears have martial arts. You cannot learn that martial art.
That martial art is theirs and theirs alone.
Though I've had someone once ask, well, what if you're a big hairy gay man? Do you qualify for martial arts bear? And I'm like, no. Animal.
Sadly, you do not. You do not. Good try though.
Good try. So with this one, you have more arms than the target you are attacking, which is armed and dangerous. Once per brawling attack, when you fulfill the requirement, you can use the martial arts move, and when you resolve this, if you roll your dice and make a brawling attack, you may roll the d10 twice and take your favored result. So you roll with advantage. You lower the penalty incurred by making an aimed shot from -8 to -5. If you are a solo, you can reassign your combat awareness points without taking an action. That is crazy good for solos, but you must have those extra limbs.
No, not necessarily. So I introduce you the concept of I have more limbs than my opponent if one of their arms has been removed.
Oh shit. And then we have
if you take off their arm or their leg, you have more limbs than they do. Congratulations.
And then we have smack together. You must have body 6 or higher, and you are the attacker of 2 or more grapples. You literally just slap 2 people together, doing their body damage. And then
you do the most violent iteration of now kiss.
Now next, for you FBC lovers, this is by FBCs, for FBCs, and
for us GMs to give very powerful cyber psychos to our players.
Now, before someone says, I've already seen it show up multiple times in my chat that it's like, oh, but it's just an NPC martial art. No, it's not. It is not. Panzerfaust.
Panzerfaust.
The first one that shows up, Borg Fist. Now, obviously, you gotta beat body 10 or higher. If you are an FBC with less than 10 body, how are you walking? What are you doing? What happened? Are you okay?
I mean, I don't think you can be an FBC with anything less than 12. I don't think there's any linear frames that afford you 10 body at that point.
No.
I think you have to be
12. Basically, instead of 2 punches at 46 damage at half SP, you instead punch a person once for that of a shotgun at half SP. 5d6 damage right to the gut.
And if you're if you are a cyber psycho, this is where the accusation gets levied of this thing being it's just for GMs. 1, you can be an FBC relatively cheap. 2, you get 5d6 as a player. I have the unique privilege as your GM of being able to turn around and say, you're cyber psycho, you have negative humanity. This goes up to 6d6 damage now.
Everybody run.
The fist is a grenade. It's fun.
At one person, mind you.
Yeah, it's throwing a 40 millimeter right through their chest.
But
it's great.
I also think about this. This literally is just the FBC, looking at the tech who is taking forever to unlock the steel door, walking up to the door, punching the door, and sending the door sailing across the room. And then also, of course, Interchrome. You are a full body conversion, have less than 0 humanity.
Or
less than.
Yeah.
So does this mean that boards without full body conversion can use this then?
Yes.
So
as long as they have negative humanity. So if you are a cyber psycho with negative humanity, you can Interchrome, and it makes it so that if you've lost cyberware, like it's been damaged, disabled, EMP'd, whatever, this lets you recover usability of some of that.
Yeah. And it's rendered inoperable until the end of combat. You're able to limp it along until finally the gun smoke settles. And then you need to look at your tech and just help.
Assuming you have the wherewithal to say help at the end of that.
Next up, a nice mixture from Southeast Asia. It is very fun to watch. Sillet has made an appearance, and this requires that you have good willpower. You can with internal power, you can just add an extra brawling attack to another person. So I like seeing these like extra punches that come out that make different martial arts worth it. So you could in this case, you hit the same target with 2 martial arts or 2 melee weapon attacks. So you don't even have to use martial arts. You can just use a melee weapon in this case, as long as you have enough points at Sillet. And then you could just hit another person with a brawling attack. Like you're stabbing this guy over here, punch the guy walking up on you, and just keep giving the other guy the business.
It's very good.
Sillet plus Arnis would be a fantastic combination here. I saw those two, and it's like, oh yeah.
Regionally, they aren't that far apart either.
No.
Like, that's the really crazy thing. Like, they're about as far apart as we are to Mexico here. So, like, it's really kind of crazy to think about, like, well, here you go, hybridize these two together, and all of a sudden, you have one of the most dangerous power combinations of martial arts and melee weapons under the sun. It's like, good luck.
Now, Violent Leverage is a great one. It's your turn. You started a grapple, and with a target you haven't grappled before in this combat. As long as you pass a resolution, you may take a single melee weapon attack at someone. So this is literally you putting them in a headlock, stabbing them in the sides just below the ribs, starting to make them bleed. Like, that is... Like, Sillet and Arnis makes for a very, very, like, you are a skirmishing, what blade in one hand, free hand in the other, grab, and start just stabbing the hell out of someone. Give them some stitches. So next up, coming from Savoil. You want to talk about Sov System?
Yeah. So this is another that we didn't, in my group, we didn't get around to testing. But Sov System is another one of them corporate martial arts, essentially. So this is the direct successor of Command Sambo, which was a martial art that was previously taught to the Red Army, which has been molded by Savoil in a single-minded effort to create commercial martial arts more popular than Arasaka-te. So this is, if you were setting up a Night City, Cobra Kai, Karate Kid sort of situation, your practitioners are Arasaka-te and Sov System. That is the modern day of that conflict, all right? So The moves here are Dirty Blow and Revenge Strike, both of which lean pretty heavily into body being a certain level. And they enable you to be a little more focused on damage to your opponent in the form of critical injury. And when you receive that same kind of punishment, you can dish it right back out again. So it's very much when you get into soft system, you're deeply, deeply invested into just both of you are going to get thrashed, essentially. It is going to be painful the whole way down. This is another martial art that, like several others now, allows us to recover some lost luck points as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do some nuts stuff with this. So yeah, that is the really high level overview. But yeah, it very much turns into dirty fighting, using every advantage you can, not caring about honor, rules. All that stuff is bullshit given to you by people who've never been hit really in their life. Let us show you how to really hit someone, is effectively what one of the masters of this would tell you.
Now, maybe not the showiest, but probably one of the more entertaining martial arts out there to watch. Sumo. It's Japanese wrestling focused on using the full force of your body. This is literally you using every ounce of strength, weight, and push that you have to throw your opponent out of the ring.
I don't think it's like an exaggeration to call this the other side of the same coin that jiu-jitsu's on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it could like, you know, sumo being a type of wrestling compared to traditional wrestling, which is very much about leverage. This one, you're all body, all in. First one, Diashi. You gotta have body 7 or higher for this, and you are about to be grappled or thrown. If you pass the resolution, you are not grappled, you are not thrown, and the target that you're getting, you may move yourself, and the target trying to grapple or throw you 6 meters. So, I mean, 3 squares is a big make or break in a lot of situations, especially from elevated positions.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Niramai, which is require you to have cool. Oh gosh,
yeah,
sumo rocker boy. Oh,
there's a lot of really potent ways to combine sumo into other kind of role focused stuff.
Oh yeah,
because like I could also see Niramai turning into an art that you lean into as well as a fixer.
Oh yeah. Whenever you fulfill this requirement, you can use the martial arts resolution to give yourself a +2 to a face down, which we don't often see like bonuses to face down.
No, they're also notably the only the only type of check that you'd make in Cyberpunk other than a death save, which cannot benefit from luck. So your face downs are all reputation, cool, and whatever couple of random modifiers or bonuses you can add on top. So to just say, yes, you have this martial art that if you roll high enough to resolve it, you can just get a bonus, that is crazy. That is so good.
So, Tai Chi, a much more indirect martial art. It's much more about redirection and thwarting incoming attacks and staying on your feet. So we have joint manipulation. Someone in melee range missed you with a melee attack. You could choose one of your attacker. Whenever you pass the resolution, you choose one of your attacker's hands, and they are unable to use that hand until the end of their next turn. This does not cause your attacker to drop anything, though.
No, but It basically, if you think of, for those of you who've seen Legend of Korra is like one of the best examples I can immediately call to mind about this. There were the gang of martial artists essentially in the first season of Legend of Korra, where they would really quickly just like tap someone all the way up their arm, and it would effectively make it so that arm went numb and limp. That is pretty much what joint manipulation is. You are just stunning the arm. And it is crazy.
Ty Lee from the original Avatar series as well did that.
Yes. Yep.
Where, you know, she just shut someone down just by, you know, hitting them in the right spots.
Yep, and that's exactly what that is.
This one does require willpower, though. Because the requirement's going to be will 8 or higher. Someone in melee range.
This is Lu.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear. We're off to a manipulation. We're on to Lu.
Someone within melee range of you has just successfully made a martial arts resolution. Once per turn, you can make a martial arts special move resolution against the DV equal to the martial arts special move resolution that your opponent made. If you succeed, their martial arts special move resolution fails, unless they immediately respond by using Lu themselves and beat the DV established by your Lu check.
Yeah, so you can turn into this really like tense. This is you playing Mirror Match Blue in Magic the Gathering.
Don't attack me.
This just turns into the martial arts equivalent of counterspell hell. This is pretty great.
So, if we looked at someone like an absolute monster at martial arts like Wei, something like this would just shut him down pretty quickly.
Potentially, it could, yeah. It's still dependent upon your enemy beating the Lu using martial artists in the context.
Yeah.
To beat something that beat a martial arts special move resolution, which most of the time is at least DV 13, if not 15.
Somewhere between 13 to 17, depending on which one.
So, you've got to beat at a minimum, reliably, a 14. Most often, you're going to need to beat a 16.
Yeah, you got to roll a 16 or better for the most part.
Yeah, so, this is not easy to do necessarily unless your opponent is not that trained at martial arts. But if you succeed, just being able to shut them down for their martial arts is kind of crazy. Very, very cool. I kind of dig Tai Chi. Very cool, very defensive. I don't like other martial artists martial arting on me. Very, very cool.
And see, here's the best part. Play as if you're not a Tai Chi player. Just throw your enemies off. Just do it, and then right when it does happen, do the thing. Shut them down.
Yeah. So the next art we have to talk about here is Tamok, which is a modern martial art, sometimes called the art of modern confrontation. It was created to train police departments in weapon retention and grappling in an effort to lower officer mortality rates. So these are quite possibly some of those advanced holds and things like that they talk about. So you have first an advantage position, which is if you're the attacker in a grapple, you can attempt to do a special move resolution. And if you succeed, you lower the penalty incurred by making an aim shot against a target you are grappling with. A martial arts or weapon attack, melee weapon attack, down to a -5. So you could just make it easier for you to try to stab someone in the face or punch them in the face. Then there's weapon retention, which is if you're about to be disarmed, you can make the special move resolution and just say no.
Which is really nice. It's really nice.
Yep, you literally spin the gun back around after your attacker tries to spin it on you.
Next up, Using a mixture of command sambo and thrash boxing, we have thrash sambo, a dance-inspired fighting style born in nightclubs in Eastern Europe in the 2020s of this timeline. I'm not sure what's going on in the nightclubs of Eastern Europe right now. Who knows? But this is all about being able to eat the damage and keep going. I gotta say, if you're not really like into like all the showy martial arts, you just want to like soak the damage and keep going, this is the one. Grit, you're about to suffer a critical injury. Whenever you fulfill this requirement, you can use the martial arts special move resolution here. And if you succeed, you do not take the bonus damage from the critical injury, but you do suffer the effect. That's going to be powerful against, if that's around when power weapons show up in the 70s. Just, no extra 10 damage. Drew off.
Well, and there's nothing saying it can't be there. Because, people were practitioners of this in the 40s. 30 years later, there are still practitioners of this. I guarantee you. And that's terrifying. Yeah. Think about if a guy knows, think if someone knows Thrash Sambo, they also know Panzerfaust. Just imagine. All right. Imagine what that looks like, how that feels to get punched by the God Fist. And then you try to take that same God Fist off and they say, "No puny meat," and just throw you across the room.
Next one is thick skin. This is when you are taking damage from a melee attack. Whenever you fulfill this requirement, you can use the martial arts resolution here. The damage you take is reduced by 2 if it's a melee attack, or it's reduced by 4 if it's a martial arts attack. So yeah, this is very much about just eating the damage and moving. And then finally, the eldest of them all, wrestling. All the way back to the time of the ancient Romans, where they'd get oiled up, butt naked out in the Colosseum and just wrestle each other. I don't know.
Wrestling, yeah.
I don't know what timeline. Yeah, wrestling. This ain't professional WWE wrestling. No, this is like what you see in high school wrestling or college wrestling.
Yep.
Like, this is the brutal stuff.
Your 2 moves here, everybody, are chokehold and reversal.
Good shit.
So, yeah, this is not going to be comfy. So chokeholds literally allow you to, if you haven't used the choke action, you've got someone already held, you can just use a free choke action on them by beating a special move resolution. So what this means is I throw somebody into a chokehold, and on that same turn, just beat the move resolution. If I can do that, I get a free choke on them without burning my action.
So that could start round 1 of the choke.
It does. And subsequently, if I want to, I don't care about knocking them out necessarily with the choke, because again, for those of you who are less familiar with melee resolution where this is concerned, if you've got someone and you're choking them and you choke them 3 turns consecutively, they pass out. They go unconscious for a minute. So if you don't care about that as much though, or you're okay with risking not getting that, what you could technically do is every single turn, you could punch them in the face while still holding them, and then beat the same resolution and choke them more. So you are both meleeing them and then also choking them out. It's actually insane how good this is for applying damage, especially if your body is super high. Like, this is crazy good. Because each time this chokehold is not an action. So the next thing that we have there is reversal. So if you are the defender in a grapple, so you've been grabbed, you can try to use the special move resolution, and by doing this, literally flip it around. So now you're the attacker in the grapple. So it turns into, oh, I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. And now all that other shit starts to happen, which is pretty crazy. This is where two wrestlers going at it would be very interesting to watch. See how that plays out.
So, I mean, looking at these 23 martial arts, what does this mean for how the game plays now?
Complex. I mean, I think martial arts are, it either complexifies it or changes it like almost none. And the reason I say that is, at least from my side of this, is when you are looking at taking martial arts, there's a huge skill investment to doing so.
Yes.
And that cannot be overlooked or ignored. And so for players, you still probably won't take, because a lot of people I've seen talking about this talk about, well, my netrunner is a gun guy and he doesn't like to do this, or my solo's a range guy. Why would I ever take one of these? You might not, and that's okay, because there are plenty of characters that we would make even in the time before this came out that didn't take martial arts for a variety of different reasons. Some of them might have been like, oh, the martial art I want, or the type of martial art I want doesn't exist in the game yet. And for those, now here it is. You have it on a silver platter. For everyone else, though, it's like that might not be the vibe of your character. They may not be a martial artist. I know I'm not a martial artist. Like, not everyone is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it gives a lot of options, and to GMs especially, you now have so much more flavor to throw on your melee combatants. It's actually crazy. Because if you are throwing your opponent, or if you're throwing your crew a group of opponents that are Militech Spec Ops, they will probably have Militech Commando training. If you are throwing them a group of like battle-hardened bodybuilders, odds are someone in there knows something, right? Whether that's Thrash Sambo or sumo, or someone maybe is a practitioner of Tai Chi, or like there's all kinds of stuff that could play out with that.
And of course, like, you might come across an older FBC that's got marks showing Fourth Corporate War, and they probably will be able to rock your shit, send you sprawling down the street, and think nothing of it. Be a Panzerfaust.
And Valkyrie actually just pointed out in chat that even before IRV4, the fact that you got the kip up from the core rulebook automatically makes any of these martial arts valuable, so that you never have to worry about going prone.
I mean, that, or you might be in, Little China, and this group of booster gangers, one of them just happens to be really skilled in Arnis. I know gangers don't tend to be skilled in martial arts, they're not skilled combatants. You just might come across the wrong guy, though. And they may just fuck your shit up horribly. Yeah.
No, I mean, even the really, like, what we called the mall ninja martial art in the form of Arasaka Te, you run across anyone who's even decent at it, they're escaping grapples easy. They are countering your melee attacks if you're a melee fighter. Like, you're not going to bring that to a gunfight probably with any real success, but you are absolutely going to be better protected against melee assailants. And so if your party regularly engages in melee combat, these will probably come more into play. If you're playing the game true to how Night City would be in terms of its diversity and things. That. Yeah. So, like, very, very, very cool.
Of course, there's one last important thing I am leaving for Emmerron to read.
Oh boy. Okay.
Because the way that he read it here recently was good.
Let me get my mic nice and close here if I can adjust something here. 2 seconds. Because I feel like I need to do this justice. That's close enough. I can read there. Okay. Let me kill my music as well.
Kill the music.
Go.
Got it.
I'm gonna kill my music. Yeah. All right. So the last part of the DLC here, the bonus article and interface, is an excerpt talking about Shaitan. To just preface this before I start to actually read, Shaitan, for those of you who are newer to the game, may not be a name that you are intimately familiar with. He's to some of you, I'm sure, very forgettable sort of side NPC that shows up for like a minute or two in 2077 before being unceremoniously blasted out of Johnny's recollection of being in the AV on the night of the bombing of the Arasaka Tower. In reality, in actuality, this guy was the Militech equivalent of Adam Smasher, and actually was the reason that Adam became the thing he is now today, because Arasaka was terrified of Shaitan. They did not trust that they could beat Shaitan in a fair fight. And so rather than trying to, they got the most psychopathic, violent person they could and offered him a deal. And that was Adam Smasher.
Shaitan is the Chuck Norris of this universe.
He is so scary. So what I'm about to read is just simply titled Shaitan, and I'll let the text from here pretty much speak for itself. We had misjudged the nature of the demon we sought to destroy. The tower was not enough. Arasaka could not be killed with a single blow to the heart. The demon had multiple hearts. I heard another one beating across an ocean to the east. It tormented me. Recklessly, I installed cyberware to prepare my new body for the same purpose as the old one I'd left behind in the rubble. Even as my mind failed, my hate kept me going. Too much chrome, too quickly. When I regained my sense of self, I was on an autonomous cargo ship stranded in the Pacific Ocean. Autonomous mines had hit the rudder. I was alone, and around me, the world was ending. Night City had fallen and risen again. Suddenly, try as I might, the net was unreachable. I searched the vessel and found an armory of Militech toys. I could have worked for 10 lifetimes and never afforded it all. I counted in my head the number of Arasaka laboratories I had blown up in my life, the submarines, yachts, planes, factories, and train yards. Saburo Arasaka never truly cared about any of them. My revenge had never even touched him, not until the moment I watched the light killed from his eyes of his only loyal son. How had I been so stupid for so many years? A tower can be rebuilt. He couldn't buy another K. He couldn't hire another son. In the cargo hold, I found several intentionally mislabeled items. Prototypes, some further along than others, miniaturized railgun tech, chameleon cyberware, monoblades, and an entirely rebuilt Eclipse full body conversion. Nostalgic. Transferring was too risky. Cannibalizing it all for parts was much more palatable. I rolled out an olive tarp and spent the remainder of the week laying out a skeleton of weaponry. The sweetener packets I found in an expired Militech rations made a reliable alternative to the brain solution every Borg is sustained by when dissolved in rainwater. Now that I had resources and time, I could begin. Surrounded by a stack of Militech user manuals and relying entirely on chipware, I installed the tech into my body, one piece at a time. I learned quickly that I was not at all like a motorcycle. It took years, but I learned. Installing the chameleon coating itself took months. I failed the surgery 7 times, and in succeeding, I nearly lost myself. I remembered what they took from me to keep me sane. Then I found a crate dressed up in Virginia postage, labeled Omega Frame, Nuclevi, Attention, Dixie, and installing it sent me over the edge. The next memory I have is waking up wrapped tightly in the tarp. Though covered in rust and seawater, I felt immediately comfortable with the second cyberpsychosis. It was frightening. I felt emotionally numb, like I had turned on a pain editor for my soul. These thoughts in my head, these feelings, were not human. My body was ready to complete my mission, but my mind was at risk. Were I to fall one more time, I would never again return to the surface. To center myself, I created a new faceplate from what remained of the salvaged Eclipse. I remembered my mother, that long ago I vowed to her memory that I would even become an evil spirit to achieve my revenge, a Shaitan. As I clicked the faceplate, I renewed my vow. It gave me a new purity of purpose. I needed to focus on the future. When last I met Adam, we were matched at range, but the fight was decided up close. I will never again be so powerless. I needed a new weapon to defeat a Dione in whatever form it arrived, and the creative Militech martial arts interactive training brain dances gave me a path. A lifetime of Aikido and solo work helped fill in the gaps. Muay Thai, Arnis, Silat, Krav Maga, I trained in everything. After Panzerfaust, I achieved an epiphany. All arts are connected. The mind, body, spirit, chrome are all equal contributors. I felt ready to fight 1,000 battles or just one. Both were identical pursuits. Years later, during my morning meditation, a nomad vessel discovered the ship. After a brief discussion, they agreed to help me reach the shores of Japan and supply me with whatever I needed. In return, I gave them the ship and its cargo. The money and favors I gained were enough to establish a network of safe houses on the mainland and across the Pacific Rim. Saburo is weak where he cannot see his weakness. I will strike him there, behind his eyes. What I take from him, he will never be able to replace, not with all the money in the world. A tower can be rebuilt. The soul can't be repaired so easily, not when struck from within. And that is the excerpt. So, Shaitan is a verifiable badass. The man is unbelievable. Literal fucking machine of iron will. So yeah, I cannot wait to see what we hear of him coming forward. If he shows back up in the lore, it can only be good things.
Well, not only that, we have to figure out how the fuck Saburo survived a literal walking machine chasing him.
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
It probably had sick Adam on him. And it probably was the nastiest fight that Tokyo has ever seen.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah, half of Tokyo burned at the other side of that fight. It's but so yeah, when you see Shaitan literally kicking multiple agents here, having ripped the arm off of one of them, which again, I'm gonna put up the main monitor again, because there's a beautiful full art spread of this at the back of the book. This is a man who has traveled across the ocean, installed cyberware and practiced martial arts entirely on his own for years to do what he is doing here. That is terrifying.
Like, and like, you know, we were kind of hashing out just kind of the mere thoughts of what Shaitan could possibly be. Shaitan is a Militech Eclipse with a linear frame Omega chassis, a lot of chameleon coding, very proficient in multiple martial arts. Like, well, I don't know, 16, 18.
I mean, I'm gonna scroll back up into here real quick.
This guy's had all the time in the world.
So Aikido was his main martial art that he'd studied beforehand. Then he learned Muay Thai, Arnis, Silat, Krav Maga, and Panzerfaust at a minimum. So he had at least 6 of them under his belt before he realized these are all connected, and then he kept going. Like,
yes,
that is nuts.
I care to think Shaitan may very well be proficient in all these, let alone Kendo would be fantastic, because Eclipse, if I'm correct, they come with that pop-up Mono 3.
And to respond to you, Wee Man, the Omega frame is labeled as Omega frame Knuckleve. So like, this isn't a standard Omega frame. This is something else. So yeah, no, this is absolutely some form of variant tech upgraded.
This guy either pulled himself together from cyberpsychosis, practicing martial arts, or he has very much instilled the will of the machine in himself.
Yes. No, he's Shayton. After this excerpt alone, Shayton is one of my new favorite Cyberpunk characters. I am so excited to see where this guy goes from here. Like, holy crap. Nuclevian myth is terrifying. Wait, hold on. Oh, hold on. Now we got to go on a hunt. Let me
watch as this becomes some yokai we have to chase in Shadow Scar.
Hold up. Now I need to know. Let's see. Nuclevi. The Nuclevi folklore, it's from Scotland.
Oh.
All right. So there are plenty of dangerous creatures in Scottish folklore, but nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the horrible, the terrifying, the downright evil Nuclevi. We should maybe count our blessings that this creature only haunts the Northern Isles, since its mere description strikes fear into ordinary people. If the sight of the beast wasn't enough to make you collapse, then its breath would. Out of its gaping mouth spewed a stench that wilted crops and sickened livestock. Almost every single problem that befell the islanders, from drought to blights, was blamed on it. It was a name that many wouldn't even whisper. Its name means devil of the sea. It's only when the Nuclevi is ashore that it spreads its terror. During the summer, it's held back by the mither of the sea. As her strength wanes with the spread of autumn, the monster can come ashore. The only thing that will drive it off is fresh water. Fortunately, that includes Scottish rain. So late one night, and no doubt after a few shandies, an islander called Tomas was walking home. By the light of a bright moon, he reached a section of the path with the sea on one side of him and a little freshwater lock on the other, when suddenly he stopped in his tracks. Something was moving toward him up ahead. Tomas had thought that it was somebody on horseback, but as it got closer, he started to realize it was far, far too big. Whatever it was, he had that cold dread down his back that told him it wasn't good. But with the water on both sides of him, Tomas had nowhere to go but backwards, and there was no chance he was turning his back to this monster. He stood his ground and said a little prayer as he began to make out the horrible figure of the Nuclevi before him. It was a strange hybrid of man and horse, seemingly fused together. The head of the man was enormous, with a mouth sticking out like the snout of a pig. It had arms so long that it could reach the ground without even bending over. The wide mouth of the horse's head was sneering at him, while steam belched out of it. Its single red eye stared right into him like fire. That wasn't the worst part, though. The terrifying Nuclevi wasn't just hairless, but completely skinless as well. Tomas watched as red raw flesh writhed, as if this creature had been turned inside out. Even in the dim moonlight, he could make out the black blood pumping through its veins. Tomas's eyes kept moving over the beast, stuck fast with fear as it steadily walked towards him. The head of the humanesque part of the monster was rolling around like it was going to fall off at any moment. The cold dread down his back had turned to pure ice, and Tomas was shaking like a leaf. The only thing he knew was the Nuclevi couldn't stand fresh water, so he forced his leg to back toward the lock. As Tomas stood awaiting his fate, the horse head lowered down in line with his. Its vast jaws opened up like a terrifying yawn, and a hot stench filled his nose. Huge arms swung down to grab the terrified man, but he instinctively stepped back into the lock, splashing one of the horse's legs. The beast let out a horrible, thundering snort as it stepped away from the water. The swooping hands just missed dragging Tomas with them. He saw his chance. Darting past and with fear serving like a rocket up his backside, Tomas legged it along the edge of the lock. He knew there was a little river ahead of it, and if he could make it that far, then the Nuclevi wouldn't dare follow. But he wasn't there yet, and the monster was hot on his heels. He could hear snorting and roaring behind him like a storm on his tail. Just as he reached the river, he felt more then saw the long swinging arms coming for him, and he dove right into the water. Wading to the other side, Tomas looked back to see the Nucalavi screeching on the other bank. As he panted for breath, he saw the only thing he had lost was his bonnet hanging from those enormous arms. So yeah, that is the lore. That's crazy. Holy. And that is what Shaitan has become. A monster who aimlessly pursues the enemies he wants to kill. That is terrifying.
Oh.
That is terrifying.
We are at an hour 15.
Yep.
I don't have any questions.
We are. Except, holy shit, how do I forget what I just read?
Oh. Goodness.
Yep. That was fun. That's a fun little exploration. So yeah, because I looked into what the heck a Nucalavi was. Thank you, Valkyrie, for drawing that to our attention. That was great. So
gosh, I missed 10
I don't
seconds
have
ago when I didn't know this thing existed.
So with that out of the way, chat, if you have any questions quickly that we might address, we are more than happy to do that. But otherwise, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I think final thoughts, I guess, on Cyberfists of Fury ultimately. As I said, I think that this is going to be a truly great article to have access to. Well worth $10 to buy a PDF of it. I think that this is really, really solid stuff. The team at Artel should be extremely proud, and it was an honor to be able to work as a playtester in helping bring this to fruition and to be able to do that. So again, Artel, Rob, if you're still watching, anyone else from the team that might watch this later, thank you for giving us that opportunity to be part of making this thing real. But yeah, I think ultimately very, very worthwhile. Any thoughts from you there, Diamond?
Well, I'm personally glad that, they did take time on this. I know this came out a lot later compared to other interfaces, but it was well worth the wait, in my opinion.
Yeah, very worth the wait. I know that this has been one I've been waiting for a while, but I'm glad to see it finally in our hands. Hopefully moving forward, we will see some very interesting things out of this. I know I've got some players for a certain Inferno themed actual play that were very, very excited to get their hands on some of the things like boxing out of this. So this is the big thing that I was kind of holding me back from doing much more into Neon Inferno, because I didn't want to leave those players high and dry. But now that we have it, it's coming, guys. It is being actively worked on as we speak. Diamond was actually with me just yesterday. Both her and Valkyrie were listening to me consider different theme tracks, and I'm working on that right now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It is being developed. It is coming soon.
And of course, as always, feel free to follow us here on Twitch, over on YouTube. Come check us out. Check out what we do. And stay safe out there. We will see you soon. And
yep.
I guess just as another note, I'm kind of like, while I am looking for work, hoping StartPlaying might be able to be a full-time thing for me. If you're interested in joining my table, I've got a lot of openings. Come on over.
She do. You should. If you're looking for a professional GM, you're down to pay for a game. I can vouch Diamond's Table is a fun one to be at. So
same with Emmerron. I don't know if you got any openings going on right now, but
not quite yet. I'm beginning to kind of weigh out how I can fit more in.
Understandable.
But yeah, right now Neon Inferno, and I've got a pretty active, heavy hand in some of the planning leading into Gen Con for Artel Saurian's Game Rooms this year. So as things allow, I'm gonna see what I can do. But yeah, we will be working on stuff and things and stuff, and I've got some previewish, reviewish stuff coming up very soon for games beyond Cyberpunk that you'll all be able to watch and listen to my beautiful voice talk about. So please look forward to that.
And I guess also in exciting news, I'm gonna hold my first IRL game in years. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, till then, be safe out there.
Yeah.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Have a good one, guys. Peace out.